Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how I clean my makeup brushes. Today I'm using the Dr. Bronner's Cast Steel soap. This is the Peppermint one. I really like to use the bar soap in the same scent, but I don't have it with me. And then this is Johnson & Johnson baby soap. That's another good soap to get your makeup brushes clean, and it's really cheap. So I just put the soap in that little glass container. I used about half the bottle, so about a half an ounce, and I just wet my brush and then swirl it in my hand to get the makeup out. It works really well, and it cleans the brushes really well. And then I rinsed it out. I did this brush twice because this is like my main powder brush, so I felt like it was just really dirty. I went about 3 weeks in between when I cleaned my brushes last and now, and I normally try to do this every week and a half or 2 weeks. And so I just washed this brush again, and then I rinsed it out, and then I just laid it to the side. You want to make sure when you're rinsing your brushes, you're rinsing them downward, so that way water doesn't get stuck in the barrel of the brush. For this one, it's kind of hard to see, but on this one, like the metal, the gold part, you don't want to get water in there because it can loosen up the bristles as well as that part of the brush, so it may fall apart. But most of the time, if it does fall apart, you can just use a little crazy glue. So this one, I'm doing the same technique with pretty much all my brushes. Now I'm going to show you how I wash my sponge. I just put water in it like I normally would before I used it, and then I dipped it in the soap, and then it dropped out of my hand. So then I just massage this really well and just try to get as much of it out. I normally do this about twice. Some sponges, like depending on what color foundation you use or like what type of concealer, it'll actually stain the sponge. So some of the spots you aren't going to be able to get out, especially if you use like MAC Pro Longwear concealer. Sometimes that just won't come out of the sponges. And I've heard that from like multiple people on YouTube, so it's not, you can't really concern about it. As long as you're squeezing it out and you're not seeing any makeup, you're pretty much good. And you want to make sure that you get all of the soap out of your sponge because it can kind of irritate your skin if you don't. But I think it's really important to wash your makeup brushes because it helps fight against like getting breakouts and stuff. So I just went through and washed all of my makeup brushes. Sometimes I wash them all. Sometimes I just stick to washing my face brushes because those are the ones that like really get bacteria on them, and I don't really do eyeshadow looks on the norm, so like my eyeshadow brushes don't get that dirty. But yeah, I just went through and washed all of them. So this is just how I let them dry. I just lay them out in my bathroom on my vanity, and I fold the hand towel just once over so that way they have a little bit of an angle, because you want the water to drain out and not to settle in the barrel of the brush, so that way like you don't have any shedding or the glue doesn't get loosened up. Most of the time if the glue does get loosened up, you can just use like a little bit of like crazy glue or something and glue it back together. But for brushes that don't actually have like a detached barrel like this one, they're just like one big shaft, it's hard to like repair them once they get messed up. But this is just how I let them dry. Occasionally I will come over and turn them just so that way the bristles that are touching the actual hand towel can dry too. But this is just what I do. I let them, and then I pop them back in my little containers, and I go ahead using them. Normally I try to do this in like the evening or the afternoon because they can dry overnight and I won't need them until the next day. But they do take around like a couple hours to dry. I don't really know because I normally do it during the evening and the afternoon, so that way they have like a long time to dry.